Soldiers and their families in Germany are facing major decisions over their future as a result of army cuts, especially those who've married or settled with Germans. But what will life be like for those who stay? Ali Gibson has been to Berlin to meet some of those who made the capital their home after leaving the army.
Berlin, once a divided city and the focus of the Cold War, now a modern European capital. It's 18 years since the British left, but there's still a little corner of it that will be forever England. Bill Sheckleston is a founding member of the Royal British Legion here and came to Berlin shortly after the war ended in 1945.
We were building a sort of outstation on the Autobahn, sort of halfway between Berlin and Helmstedt on the corridor. And we used to travel every day down to this place to do the building. And when we came back along the Autobahn and I saw the Funkturm, I call it the Blackpool Tower, I thought, thank goodness, we're home again.
Having met his wife in Berlin, Bill was one of the first British soldiers to settle here as a civilian in 1946. For him and the other members, the Legion has been a lifeline, especially after the forces left in 1994.
No, it means a lot to me. It gets the people together, and it's a British place where you can meet and chat and have a joke.
Frank Knox also stayed here for love. The former Coldstream Guard soldier was working as a civilian by the time the British withdrew and has concerns for German communities in what used to be known as the core area.
Small villages will also find once that the soldiers go, obviously their income is going to drop as well. Little restaurants, little cafes or whatever just disappear. Berlin city can pick up on it. Paderborn, Bielefeld, not so big, they won't manage.
At its height, several thousand British troops were stationed in Berlin and stayed for 5 years after the wall came down in 1989. But now traces of their presence are fading. During its heyday, this was the Britannia Centre, a hub of activity housing welfare facilities, shops and entertainment for the British military community in Berlin. Built in 1990 on the site of the former Spandau prison, the British military left this site in 1994 and it was handed over to the German authorities. But the German businesses that moved in here failed to make enough money and the site was left vacant in 2008. And now, under current plans, it could soon be demolished. Some old British sites have been taken over. Brook Barracks is home to several businesses and the former RAF Gatow is now part museum, part German barracks. But for others, nature is now king.
Plans for these barracks was, this is going to be made into this, and this is a listed building, and this and that. And today when you see it, then it's just, you walk in there and you just cry.
Further west, the people of Hameln are also concerned about life after the British leave. Gordon Barracks has been home to 2-8 engineers since 1971. But under Army 2020, in the next 3 years, the regiment will be gone, ending 40 years of Anglo-German friendship. For the town's mayor, it's a worrying time.
The regret is there amongst the community. Of course they're worried about losing jobs. We have a lot of civilian people working for the British Armed Forces. They will of course all be gone. That's a fact that's regretted deeply, and then on top of that, of course, we have to look after all of the areas that are now free land. What are we going to do with the land, with the buildings, with the barracks? These are questions that you have to ask yourself.
The RBL promised they'll be there for any soldiers who decide to stay here, but warn life will not be easy and that learning German is a must. But for many, returning to England is no longer an option.
I don't think I would ever go back to England now. This is my roots now. Yeah. Obviously when you have family living here, then, although I have family in England, but this is my home now. This is my home.
British military expats have been enriching local communities in Germany for decades. But if there is an influx of new blood from soldiers electing to stay in 2020, it's going to be the last. Ali Gibson, Forces News, Berlin.